The entire mountain was carved to create this ancient temple that excites the minds of many people, and its dating and construction technology raises a lot of questions.
Recently, one of my subscribers sent me a video showing an already existing technology of laser stone carving. Here's how it looks. Fiber laser machines have been around in industry for quite a while, but only in recent years compact portable versions started to appear. Nowadays, you can even buy a home laser machine for soft materials for around $300. However, for stone, you would need something much more powerful and expensive, and for the so-called Kailasa Temple, an even more powerful version would have been required. And it could have actually existed in the past if we simply stopped thinking that it's the first time that humanity reached such a level of development. Kailasa Temple was not created in the traditional way as we used to when stones or bricks are stacked on each other. This whole building is made by cutting the mountain, removing basalt rock, in order to give it the shape of a temple. A similar approach can be found only in a few ancient buildings around the world. Now Kailasa is the largest ancient temple ever found on Earth, built this way. Moreover, the exquisite form and delicacy of the work is simply striking. Historians are shocked by the amount of stone that had to be removed to build this temple. Archaeologists have confirmed that 400,000 tons of stone had to be removed for it to be built. They also claim that the construction took 18 years. With this data, some inquisitive minds calculated how many tons of stone had to be taken out every day to build this temple in 18 years. Provided that people did not rest at all and the construction went on continuously day and night, it was that they had to remove 22,222 tons of stone a year, 60 tons a day, 5 tons of stone per hour. We're not taking into account the time spent on carving fancy bas-reliefs and planning all these works. It's unclear why they did need to spend so much time and effort building a temple. Look at the view from above. This temple has a highly symmetrical design, which is not so often inherent in such ancient buildings. I now mean not the evenness of the walls and the quality of the polishing, but the overall composition of the construction. Looking from above, only this part doesn't fit in a perfectly symmetrical ensemble. It's really important to understand how they carved this all in one piece. For example, it takes a very long time to create one such pillar, and this is provided that it is made of separate stones that are sanded after putting one over the other. And here, the pillar was created by removing all the rock around it. But what's more exciting is how the ancient architects were able to create a construction plan that would take all of this into account and then made it all so precisely. The temple has bridges that connect buildings, sewage and rainwater collection systems, large balconies and complex stairs, and it was all planned before they started carving it out of the rock. For some reason, I can think of an analogy with 3D printing and model design in 3D. These technologies are already available to us. But we're doing this out of plastic with small details by applying heated plastic layer by layer. And here, the logic is a bit similar. Only layer after layer, a huge mountain removed. Perhaps they also melted it before this. We can imagine a huge 3D printer vacuum cleaner that absorbs the rocks. But when I learned about laser stone carving, everything became even more obvious. And this could even explain the famous local legend that the temple was carved in a single night, which had seemed like complete nonsense to me. The rock from which Kailasa was carved is basalt tuff, which however has almost the same hardness as basalt on the Mohs scale, although it is slightly easier to work with due to its porosity. For comparison, limestone, which the Egyptian pyramids are made of, is almost twice as soft. There is information in historical records that in the late 17th century, the Muslim king, Aurangzeb, gathered 1,000 men and ordered them to destroy the temple. 1,000 people worked for 3 years, and all they could do was rip off elephants' noses, damaged faces of statues and plaster. Eventually, after 3 years of unsuccessful attempts to wipe the temple from the face of the earth, Aurangzeb abandoned the idea. And as we know, to destroy is easier than to create. And even if it was basalt tuff, the question remains who could have created such a large-scale structure and why use such a strange technology of construction? Besides, how did they know that basalt tuff runs to such a depth? Did they conduct exploration by drilling? Let's imagine that they carved the rock for 5 years, and then it turned out that at a 7-meter depth, some kind of super hard rock lies, or vice versa, clay. Let's turn to open sources. The temple dates from about the 8th century AD, dated according to a copper plate with fragmented text found in Gujarat state. It's written on the plate, "It was commanded to build a miraculous temple on a hill in Alapur, at the sight of which the best of the immortals moving on the heavenly chariots were amazed with its beauty." The architect who built the temple was suddenly amazed. How did I build it? The inscription is dated to 812 AD, but it only confirms that the temple already existed in 812 AD. There is no evidence that it was built at this time. Many archaeologists believe that the Temple of Kailasa is the oldest among the temple complexes of the Ellora caves. Supposedly it was built centuries before people began to build the rest of the temples here. By the way, there are about 100 cave temples here. The famous Helena Blavatsky and archaeologist Graham Hancock defended the theory that the given building was created much earlier by representatives of another civilization. Near the Ellora caves, there are similar ancient structures that are underwater, and therefore they were built at a time when the ocean level was 100 meters lower, that is, before the Ice Age. Let's sum up. The ancient builders pulled out about 400,000 tons of stone to build an enormous complex with bridges, balconies, sewers, and other things in one piece from the mountain. And it was definitely done earlier than in the 8th century AD. People in the 17th century did not manage to destroy this temple. People in the 21st century are still struggling to guess and cannot understand the true logic of the builders and recreate something similar. Was this temple built using primitive technologies, or was technology from highly developed civilizations used here? It would be very easy to test this if someone would now try to carve a small temple in those places in a similar way, but no one has done it yet. This would certainly give the answer to a lot of questions, although perhaps reduce the tourists' attractiveness of this place.
Write in the comments which position do you hold, and have you seen Kailasa Temple with your own eyes? Subscribe and see you next Friday at Ancient Builders channel.